Hello guys and welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to do an experiment because you have told me that you like when I do experiments, and today we're going to do an experiment that I've actually been thinking about for a while but I've been too lazy to do, and so I want to do it now because double whammy. I don't know why. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can take some of this copper tape that I have right here and make a PCB out of it. If you don't know what a PCB is, it's the board that you solder all the parts to when you build something like, for example, a pedal kit. Now, PCB stands for printed circuit board, I think, yes. And, you can make them yourself. There's like chemicals and edging, and you can buy the plates and you remove the copper on it. You can also order them if that's what you're going to do. You're going to have to order more than just one board, but you can do it. But, in the spirit of DIYing, we should do something that is on a level that anyone can do, I try to make sure that the videos that I do are inspiring and teaching, but also that they not only I try to tell you, obviously, that you can do it, even if you think you can't do it. But it also has to be something that you can actually do. I want my videos to be things that you can do. That's sort of the purpose of them. Getting a PCB made is out of reach for some people, And getting all the chemicals and tools and everything that you need in order to make a PCB is also out of reach. For most people, I would say. Not if you're super into it, but it's also like, how do you get into something where you have to buy everything in order to get started? So I'm thinking maybe we can take a piece of acrylic. I have a piece right here. I hope you can see it. I can see you through it. We're going to take a piece of tape, put it over, and then we're going to cut out a PCB. I'm going to build a fuzz face with you guys, and just for fun. And I've cut out a template, and then we're just gonna trace it on and cut it out, and I'll show you all of it, and hopefully it will work. We'll see if it works. Maybe I can't make it work. We'll see. But yeah, hopefully it will work, and hopefully it will inspire you or push you to do the same thing. I don't know. I've never put copper tape and made a circuit that way. But I mean, why not? The copper in a bought PCB is super thin. It's just it's not even. It's like 1/10 of a mil or something like that. I don't know. Why shouldn't this work? So hopefully it does. We'll see. But let's now jump in to the overhead camera, and I'll build this thing, and we'll see what happens. And then we'll maybe even plug it in and see what it sounds like, if it sounds at all. Alright, so here we have our piece of plastic. I'd roughly cut it because we're gonna roughly shape it afterwards. I'm gonna cut this piece of tape here. I cut off this piece here because it has this fold that I don't know if that's gonna have any effect, but I want to just minimize the risk. This is a little bit oversized, as you can see. Now, the keen eye ones of you don't need me to say this, but the rest of you can probably tell that you can't read what it says there, and that's because it's mirrored. That is important, because the legs are going to go through everything and be sorted to this side, just like a regular PCB. Or at least that's the idea. So let's see if we can peel this off. Already feels like a bad idea. And then just press it around to make sure there's no air bubbles or anything. And something like that, yes. I'm gonna just check it, just because if this doesn't work, then it's not gonna work at all, I can promise you. So let's see if we can find my multimeter. Where the hell did I put it? So I take my multimeter and I put it to continuity, and I just touch these to see if I get continuity. Yeah, good. That's what I mean. That's the point of the tape, to do that. So if it didn't do that, I'd have to get another roll of tape. Okay, next thing we have to do is we have to place this, and this tape is just short enough, I think, so that this will fit on it. Something like that. I'm gonna put that there, and then I'm gonna see if I can align it. Just need to make sure everything is on the, and then I'm just gonna put tape down, cover everything. Hope you can see what I'm doing. Something like that. Cover everything. Just gonna cut this excess off. Something like that. Okay, and now I'm gonna take an X-Acto knife, which I thought I was... Yes, here I have my X-Acto knife. And I'm gonna just go around and score and trace this out. And then we should be able to lift everything. And when we peel it off, the tape that is not on the board should stay put and fall off. So I'm just gonna try my very best. It doesn't have to look pretty. This is just an experiment. So if it looks stupid, you'll have to forgive me. Okay. So I'm just gonna trace around here. I won't show all of the tracing around, because if I do, I will have to edit it. And if I have to edit it, you know I'm gonna be sad. Because editing makes me sad. Okay, so here we have the board now. And before we continue, I just want to say I did something that I regret, and I don't think you should do it that way. And that is that I punched all the holes and then I drilled them out. And that made all the little burrs that came from the plastic get trapped underneath. So it was really hard. You can see it's kind of wobbly. It was really hard to follow the traces and cut this out. So if you're going to do this, I mean, if this works, we'll have to wait and see. But if you're going to do this, maybe cut this out first and then drill the holes afterwards. But yeah, here we go. Let's cut around. But other than that, this isn't that bad. So something like that. And now let's see if we can lift this off. And let's see what happens. And if we leave a little bit of edge, we don't have to cut this up to the edge afterwards when we go to clean this up. If we leave it, we can drill mounting holes so that we can mount this. Which, you know, would be nice, because it is annoying to have your PCB just falling around inside of the enclosure. It's, I mean, like, it will still work and things like that, but if you can avoid it, I would say that that's a good idea. Okay, let's see here now. If we lift this up, oh my god, look at that. It looks like a disaster. But let's try now to see if we can lift the tape in between. We technically we could leave the tape that is in between. I'm gonna remove it, but we can check and see what happens if we check for continuity across the board. So here we're not getting... Wait, my multimeter died? There. Okay, I haven't managed to cut through the tape, it seems. So I might have to go back and do a bit of touch-up. But I think I've at least scored all the lines. So let's see here. Here we have a little bit. Alright, so here we have it now. I think it looks kind of cool. It looks a little blobby and slobby, but yeah. I could have done a better job, and if I ever do this again, I'm gonna try to. But now, just to check this, to make sure it isn't, you know, broken or something, we need to keep our multimeter to continuity and just check that these work. So I'm gonna check around the holes. and then between them as well. And that's just because there might be a little flare, you know, just a tiny bit that is touching something that I don't want it to be touching, you know? And if that is the case, then it's not going to work. So something like that. I think that's good. I think it works. Okay, let's start seeing if we can actually solder some parts onto this. So let's start up the soldering iron. Let's bring our papers out. And let's see what we have and where it's supposed to go. Maybe I should cut these sides down a little bit first. I'll do that and I'll be right back.
An eternity later.
Okay, so here we have the board now. We have the tape on the underside. So here's the tape. Okay, the first thing we need is to put in a 100k resistor, and I think it's supposed to go there, if I understand things correctly. This is, you know, I don't know if this is like the best possible way to do this. You know, if you're a beginner, for example, maybe this is not for you. Maybe this is a little bit convoluted, but I think we only have one 100k resistor, so only one. Here we have it, and I'm gonna cut these legs off like so, and I think it's going in here. So I'm just gonna bend these legs quickly and put this through like so. Put it on the other side like so, and then we'll see. Moment of truth, if this works. Moment of truth. Can I solder here? Something like that. Okay, let's take a look and see what we've got. We got these two legs here. Let's cut those off. We might as well. Okay. So, I don't know if you can tell. Let me see do I have something? So, it's in place. I think it feels solid. If we look, you can see it from this side. Fairly noticeable, I think. We have a little bit of burn, which means we can probably do this, but we're gonna have to be careful with how much heat we apply on this, because, you know, it's not just a question of the part, it's not just a question of the tape, it's also a question of the acrylic. Now, maybe one or two of you have a suggestion for something else that I could put there. And if you do, give me, you know, I'm just taking a piece of plexiglass that I have laying around. So if you have a suggestion for something else, just give me just let me know, and I'll be right back.
1 hour later.
It's going pretty well. I'm gonna solder the diode in place, and hopefully it will stick. No. Ugh. Just when I said it was going well. Maybe if I scrape it a little bit. I think I ruined it a little bit. I was not quick enough, so I'm gonna bend that leg over here and solder that in place there as well. So give me a second just to see if I can do that. It seems like it's still stuck there, but I'm still gonna move it over here and solder it across like that. It looks a little ugly, but I'd rather it looks ugly than maybe having issues in the future. So something like that. Just a quick dab. And yeah, it's in place, as you can hopefully see. So let's move on to the next part. All right, so now it's time for the electrolytic capacitors. We have 3 of them, and this could end poorly, you know? The other parts haven't been that, you know, hard to figure out where they're going to go and think backwards, or whatever you want to call this, that I'm doing. But these are polarized, so we might have an issue. I think this one, if I look around, is supposed to go there. So I think I'm going to try double checking this. I think I'm going to put it in like that with the ground going away from the capacitors. Yes. Something like this. I think this is correct. I'll push that in like so, and then see if we can just tag it in place with a little, tiny bit of solder. Something like that. And I'm gonna double check this one, and yeah, and we'll be right back. Okay, yeah, I have double checked it. I think we're in the right space and place. That's the first one, and then we have the second one. I think that's there, and this should go here, like so. They're facing the same direction, unless I've done a mistake with the other one, which I don't think I have. This should make sense. Let's see if we can maybe just quickly tag team it down. So, like that. And something like that. I don't think I'm gonna win any awards for sexiest circuit. If you guys want to nominate me, I'd be very happy. No, but I'm not expecting it. Okay, then we have the last one. And it's going under this here. I have to look at it from underneath. I don't know if you can see them through the board, but I think that's where it's going. And if that's where it's going with the leg, the marked leg, the ground, up towards that. This isn't that hard, actually. I feel like, I mean, it's the first time I'm doing this way, you know, so I'm a little bit extra careful, I suppose. But I mean, when you do this on perf board or something, it is the same. It's the same way, you know. You have to be careful about what you put in what direction. You have to look at both directions. I mean, on both sides. So it's not like it's that different. But there it is. Okay. Now I just need to find a. I need to find a capacitor, a regular capacitor, not an electrolytic one. So I'm gonna check and see if I have any. Let's look here now. If we turn this around, I think it's between those two. So let's see if we can get it in there. Just spread them out a little bit, the legs. Something like this. That there. So I think that will work. Hopefully. We'll see. And I'm just trying to get this to work. If you're criticizing my choices of parts, I just want to remind you that I'm just experimenting. Like, I'm not sitting here trying to build the greatest fuzz ever or anything like that. I'm just trying to see if this is actually like a viable way of building anything. Because if it is, we can have a lot of fun and be very creative. And if it isn't, then we know. And we'll have to order our printed circuit boards from somewhere. But I also think that this could be like a smart way if you're trying to make your own pedals maybe and sell them, and you have something cool going on, and you want to order boards that are perfect. You want to make sure that your design that you've drawn up in your program, whatever program it is, works the way you want it to. Then I think. I think this could be a good way. I mean, if this works, but that could be a good way to like test it, to like just cut out the board and see if it works, and then if it works and everything is fine, then you order your boards. All right, so I've picked out a couple of transistors because we need two. I'm just gonna go with the same for this, and if it's boring, it's boring. So I'm pretty sure they're going in here. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that these three holes here or these 3 holes here. And the reason why there is an extra hole is because if you're using a round capacitor, you know, a germanium, for example, they will be oriented in a 3 kind of triangle way, and then you have an extra hole, so you don't have to think. So what I'm doing is I'm just looking up my transistor on my phone and making sure that the first leg is the collector. It's just this leg here, and the first leg of the collector will go in there. I think this is going like that because that is where the collector closest to that resistor. Collector is that leg there. Yes, this one goes in like that. I'm just gonna press it into place like so. Turn this around and just add a little bit of solder to these and hopefully get them to stay. Start off with the middle leg, and then here I'll just be a little sneaky here. Get in here, come on. There we go. I hope this worked. I think that's good. Just gonna cut these legs off and double check again before moving on to the next one. So there we have that. And that leg that is up towards the resistor is supposed to be the collector, and on this, that is the collector, right? Yeah. Okay, and then on this one, the collector is down, so away from the electric capacitor. So if that is the collector, which I think it is, right? Yes, this one should go in the opposite direction, which is this direction. Just want to make sure that I'm sure of what I'm doing, because if I'm not, we'll be in trouble. So, just see if I can. Maybe if I fold this and hold.
10,000 years later.
All right, so here we have the circuit now, and we're gonna put in a couple of wires. So let's start with the wire for the input, which I think, if I understand things correctly, is going here, like so. I'll put it in like that, and I'll come up with a little bit of solder here, and just see if I can melt this together. I have to be quick about it, because we are burning the plastic, and if we burn the plastic too much, we are sort of destroying the placement. But here we have our in, just a long wire like that. Next, I'm gonna put in a battery, because let's just do this with batteries instead of the whole other thing. And if this turns out to be something that I really like, and I love this pedal, and it's the best fuzz face that I've ever had, then we can turn this into an actual pedal and have something else going on. Okay, let's see. Can we get this in? I think this is number 3 from this side. 1, 2, 3. There. Just double check. 9 volt plus. Yes. I get it. My solder, it's running out. I hate when you have like this much solder left and you're trying to use it up because you don't want to waste it, but it is fiddly to hold. There we go. It is fairly easy to solder things in place. And then we have the ground wire. I put on an extra ground just because we're going to plug this up to my tester thing, the true bypass tester thing that I've shown you before. And I don't want to... I might have to need an extra ground for that. So I'm just going to poke this through here with a double wire thing. And we'll see if we need it or if we can get by without it. Big blob of solder. This is not the prettiest thing I've ever made, but it is... it's pretty nice. Okay, now we need a couple of wires for the fuzz control. So let's make fuzz 3 here. So, no, I've hurt my thumb, so it's really hard to hold things. But that's the price of love. Whatever. Let me know if you like New Order, because that was a reference to the New Order. Something like that, I think. I think that's gonna hold it. I'm just gonna look around and add a little bit more solder. Off camera, because it's a little bit easier to see what I do. Something like that. I think that looks better, don't you? Neater solder joint. Maybe I cut these wires a little bit too short. I might have to do something about that if I ever replace them. Okay, number 2 is actually over here, I think. Here, or something like that. And then number 1, fuzz control. So 1, 2, and 3. This is the fuzz. Since I started building pedals, before I started making my own pedals, I never cared for fuzz. I had an Ibanez fuzz, one of those old Ibanez fuzz, that I got from a friend because he didn't care for it, and I just kind of went, I can have it. And I plugged it in, played it, and thought, well, this is a horrible sound. Why would anyone ever want to use this? But now that I make pedals, I don't know, fuzz is kind of my favorite sound. Okay, so that's that. I'm just quickly gonna cut these plastic shielding off, exposing the inner wire, and then I'm gonna pre-tin them, and so I'll be back in a second.
An eternity later.
All right, I'm back. Okay, so cut them back, pre-tin them. Let's see here. This one gets sorted here, and this is the middle. Is it? Yes, it is. If I ever put this into enclosure, then we'll have to rethink this. No, let's put a bit of tape on that, just so that it doesn't short out on something. Double tape for the win, something like that maybe. I don't know. I just this is like the ghetto fuzz or something. It's like taking trash and turning it into a fuzz pedal or something. It's, you know, this is take whatever you have laying around and just see what happens and make it out of tape and I don't know. It's kind of funny. Yeah. Let me entertain you. No. Okay. The next thing we need to do is these 3 holes that are left. No. These 2 holes that are left. Wait a second. Okay. I'm taking one of these blue ones, and I'm just gonna pre-tin it and cut it in half, because I don't feel like we need a little bit more wire than this, because this was barely enough. I feel like maybe we can put this one over there, but if we put the other one next to it, it's gonna be annoying. So I'll be right back once I've pre-tinned this wire and cut it in half. Right, so I'm back, and one of these wires will go into this hole right here. Come on, get in there. Like that. And sorted in place. Come on. Here we go. And the next one will be here through this hole. Something like that. I think that's good. Hopefully. Okay, so here we have our volume pot, and the middle one is supposed to be output. So let's see if we can solder this one to the middle. Just using a little bit of longer wires on these because, yeah. Okay, so that's the middle one. Okay, let's see. Can we solder these in place? Yes, we can. Am I in frame? I'm not even in frame. And sometimes I just keep working, and I'm just working. I'm having so much fun. And then I look back at the footage, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to cut all of that out because I didn't film anything. My hands were off camera. The struggles of the modern life. You don't know when you're filming yourself. Let's untangle these 2. No, these 3. There are 3 cables. And just put this very last bit of solder before I run out on these cables and see how it goes. I just need a little bit to make sure they don't fray out and start doing stupid things. Ooh, burned myself. This is too little piece to be holding on to. Anyway, there we go. Okay, let's move on to the next part. Before we try this out, I'm going to plug it up to this. Now, if you're new here and you haven't seen this before, then I have a lot of videos where this shows up. And basically, this is a true bypass switch in its own little thing, so that I can plug whatever I want into it and I can experiment. This switch here turns it on and off. I hope you can see the little LED there. It turns on and off. I'll move it over. And that's what you will basically see. We'll plug this up, and then I'll press that, and the fuzz will be on, or hopefully it will be on if things works. I also have a switch here, which lets me switch between the red cables and the green cables. So these 2 cables are the same set of cables, and it's basically the cables that would go to the effect. So it's the in and out of the effect, and I can just, A and B things. So when the light is red, it's the 2 red cables, and when it's green, right now, it is the 2 green ones. So I'll put these 2 to the side. We switch over to the red. We don't need to A-B anything. I also have 2 ground wires here. And this is why I added an extra ground wire, because we're gonna have to put the jacks to something, And they don't show a jack connection on these schematics or anything like that. So I assume the grounds are just the same for everything. That's usually how it is with simpler circuits anyway. So This one has a little blue thing on it. It's a zip tie that I've cut down to size, and I'm gonna attach this to this one. I put a bit of tape on it so that you would know that this is the input. So the input to the input, like so, and then this is the output, and that goes to the other red cable, like so. And then we're going to connect these two ground to each other, but we're also going to connect this ground here. So something like this, and then we'll have our two pots here. And all I need to do now is go and fetch myself a guitar and a battery, and I'll plug the battery. Wait, I actually have a battery right here. And I'll plug the battery in here. We can actually see. Let's plug this in and see if something starts burning. So that's in there. We'll leave it running for a second. And so far so good. I don't see anything that makes me think that is anything warm. No, I think it's all good. I'm gonna unplug this so we don't drain the battery, and I'm gonna see if I can find a guitar. So see you in a bit. Okay, so I have my guitar right here. Beautiful Strat, and this is the way it sounds. I don't know what I'm playing. Anyway, there's the guitar. I'm playing on the neck and the middle pickup because I just sat down and I just felt like that was the right for me right now. Anyway, I'm gonna plug up the battery again. Nothing started burning, so hopefully we're good. And we'll just see. So yeah, battery's plugged in. I don't see any smoke. Before I press this, I haven't tried this, so it's going to be my reaction to if this works as well. But I just want to say, technically, I could have done a mistake. It's been a while since I built the pedal this way, or not this way, but you know, the perf board way, you know, this way. It's just not been a thing I've done in a while, so I could have gotten something mixed up and put something in backwards or something. So, yeah. But anyway, just so you know, so technically, maybe this would work, even if it doesn't work for me. So you should try yourself as well. Okay, let's press this. Okay. We got something. Yeah, it works! Haha! Awesome! Fuzz is all the way up. Honestly, do we need a fuzz control? I don't know. Okay, both controls are at max. I just... It could be that the battery isn't completely full, but isn't the volume a little bit lower on fuzz? I don't know. I don't know. I need to stop playing. Okay. I think that was like, I don't know. It's a... It's very farty. I don't know. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. But it does seem to work. And I don't know. I mean, a part of me was expecting it to work, obviously. But, you know, it's one thing to solder a bunch of things together and, you know, call it a day. I mean, I could have taken all these parts and just soldered all the legs together, you know, in the right order, and that would have worked too, obviously. But the thing is, when you put it into practical use and you actually, like, will I melt the plexiglass? Will I heat it up so much that I destroy the tape? Will I do something else wrong? That's when you realize if it works. And it was actually easy. I burnt through the tape at one place, but I mean, this is the first time I'm doing this. And maybe I could find tape like this. I mean, this is just my standard tape that I use for guitars sometimes, you know. I have a silver colored one as well that you've seen, but I use both of them. You know, it's not something that I thought of. Maybe I can, if I actually want to experiment with this even further, find the perfect thickness of tape that is, you know, a little bit thicker and a little bit more robust or something. You know, I think that could be cool. Do I think this is a good idea? Is this going to be like the best thing ever and you're going to make all your pedals this way? I mean, to some of you, yes, definitely, because you're not interested in doing anything else than having fun and experimenting and just having a blast. I think that if I put lacquer or some epoxy or something on the back side where all the solder joints are, then I think this is going to hold up. I don't think I would have to worry about this like peeling or getting damaged or anything. I don't have anything to put on it right now to show you, but I'm fairly confident that that it would work and hold up. Maybe I can find some hot glue and we can try that. I don't know. My point is, I don't think we have to worry about it really that much, as long as we don't start touching it. Obviously, right now it's flopping about on my little workstation here, but if I put it into an enclosure, I think it's gonna hold up. You know? Actually, let's see if I have an enclosure. Let's put it into the enclosure. And if you guys are interested, I can come back in a year and do an update and see if it's, you know, still holding up. Alright guys, so here is the pedal now, and I gotta tell you, once I put it in the box it actually became louder, so something was not correct on the board, just so you know. So yeah, anyway, here's the guitar again. And here's the fuzz, and you can see I put in an LED. I also drew a little doodle thing on it, on copper. Turns on. And it's not as farty this time either, so definitely something going on there on the board that was not the way I wanted to be, but yeah, it's kind of a fun little thing. Anyway, I really think this is a cool thing. I think it will be awesome if you want to experiment and see if you can come up with your own circuit and do your own layout and maybe take two pedals and put them together into one, and you just want to experiment. So I think this is a win, and I think we can do a lot of fun things with this. So let me know if you want to see more of this. I know some of you, at least, enjoy my other experiment videos, so I hope you guys are going to enjoy this one as well. Yeah, that's it. If you want to, I'll come back to this pedal. I'm going to leave everything in this little box right here, right now, for a while at least. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. If you're new here, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're old here, it's no shame in being old. You know, we're all age. Just look at me. I wasn't born with this rat's nest on my face, you know? Anyway, until next time, don't forget to stay awesome and cool and do some experiments with this. See if you can put two circuits together into one. See if you can modify a circuit, you know, just have fun and play guitar, because you gotta do that too.